I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. The headlines. Poverty compels a family of Somalia refugees to miss home. Polling staff demand payment from the ECZ. CHONGWE DC fails to account for the DMMU relief food as residents complain. And in international news, record heat wave drought devastate Italy agriculture. And in sports, an 18-year-old Paralympic calls for help. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
The Camnet October Conference is fast approaching. To participate in the forthcoming conference, you're required to book your seat by paying 750 kwacha per person per day. Date 1st and 2nd October 2021. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Guest speakers include Professor Reda, Professor Munkumba, Mr. Nkuruma Kalaluka, Dr. Musonda, Dr. Sitima, Anthony from USA, Dr. Mwale, Honorable Bob Sichinga, Elias Bondela, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
The deadline for payments will be 28 September 2021. Any late payment made after 28 September will attract a penalty fee of 200 kwacha per person.
Make your payments through mobile money. For MTN 096 296 5883. For Airtel 097 975 3010. Our banking details are 913 000 182 5325. Stanbic Bank, Kablonga Branch. Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba, the board and management of Camnet TV, congratulates His Excellency, the President of the Great Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and the UPND Party on his victory as the 7th President of the Great Republic of Zambia. May God keep and bless Zambia. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
In other main news in detail, Zambia's President-elect Hakainde Hichilema has assured diplomats who visited his residence Thursday morning that human rights, freedoms and liberties will be guaranteed under his administration. Hichilema says he is confident that when human rights, freedoms and liberties are upheld, the country will attract investment and goodwill, which in turn will promote his economic vision. The president-elect told diplomats that they are free to engage with any citizens, including the opposition, in order to get views on how he is governing the country. He made remarks when he held a closed-door meeting with German Ambassador Anne Wegner-Mitchell, Finland Ambassador Pedro Suomela Jodwork, and the Swedish Ambassador to Zambia, Antonio Maggiore. The Democratic Party says there is a need for a new way of doing politics in the country that will facilitate the free flow and exchange of ideas. Speaking to Camnet News in an interview, party president Harry Kalaba says his party will be providing credible checks and balances to the incoming government.
Now one of the biggest opposition political parties in the country, taking over from the incoming United Party for National Development UPND, and in second position from the outgoing Patriotic Front, the Democratic Party led by its president Mr. Harry Kalaba topped third position in the just ended 12th August general elections. Asked what their intentions are now that room has been made for them, Mr. Kalaba says the party plans on changing the manner in which politics are done.
Well, for us as the Democratic Party, our major objective now is to just provide checks and balances. And we want to make sure that we bring in a new type of politics as we do our checks and balances to government. It's not as a question of everything you are yapping, everything you're just talking about, everything. It's to make sure that government takes heed to fundamental issues affecting the people of Zambia.
Mr. Kalaba says they will hold the incoming government accountable and provide checks and balances.
In the DP, we'll make sure that we hold the UPND government accountable to what they have promised the people of Zambia and also to what is right in their manifesto. I've taken time actually to read their manifesto. I was reading it even last night, I was going through. So that when I'm talking about issues as they're happening in government, I'll be able to refer them to their own manifesto. So we'll take our role as the party that is coming up in the opposition. We'll take our role very seriously and ensure that we maintain those checks and balances to government.
He added that there is a trend of people once in power to U-turn on their previous convictions, and it is hoped that the UPND do not fall under that bracket.
Good for the goose is good for the gander. And I believe that the UPND has learned its own lessons out of that, and they did. They'll be promoting us because who will go out and meet the people? And if they send their police, Zambians are watching. And if they continue on that trajectory, 2026, they'll still meet them, 02, on the queue. And they'll deliver their verdict.
The importance of a credible, strong opposition party cannot be overemphasized, as it fosters the fundamental tenets of democracy, transparency, and accountability. Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
The Southern African Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACORD, is disappointed at the drop in the ranking of Zambia as a peaceful nation in the 15th edition of the 2021 Global Peace Index. This drop has seen Zambia move from being the 44th most peaceful country in 2020 to the 71st most peaceful country in the world. This decline means that Zambia is 27 places worse off in 2021 compared to 2020 in terms of levels of peacefulness. Zambia has further dropped behind the sub-Saharan African countries from having been ranked the 4th most peaceful country in 2020 to the 13th most peaceful country in 2021, representing a drop of 9 places within a space of 1 year. SACORD Executive Director Boniface Chembe appeals to President-elect Hakainde Hichilema to prioritize the misfortune that surrounds Zambia's decline in the level of peacefulness.
The decline in Zambia's levels of peacefulness at both the global and the continental levels is an indicator of fundamentals not functioning correctly where our peace is concerned. These include continued acts of political violence that have contributed to the damage to private and public property, injury to citizens, and in unfortunate instances, loss of life, hence reducing the levels of safety and security for citizens, among others. Peace does not come by accident, as it requires hard work through implementation of deliberate peaceful measures and mechanisms that nurture and sustain the peace. As SACORD, we appeal to the President-elect, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to prioritize the misfortunes that surround Zambia's decline in the levels of peacefulness.
A family of Somalia refugee living in Lusaka's John Lane compound in Kanyama constituency has cried for help to be expatriated out of the country, stating that they are currently living in dire poverty. Mr. Safa Jusawi, who has a wife and 3 children, has told Camnet News that he came into the country as a refugee of the war in 2013 and has been applying for a work permit since then, but without any success, prompting the family to depend on people's goodwill to give them food. He adds that letters written to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in Zambia has also gone unresponded to. Camnet News has since reached out to UNHCR through a press query to get feedback on the matter.
Hunger, poor health, and lack of sleep is all this Somalian family has known for the last 7 years, as they lack access to life's basic necessities. This is according to Asafa Jusawi, who is a husband and father of 3. Mr. Jusawi has told Camnet News that he fled Somalia in 2013 and came to Zambia as a refugee of war, but has been unable to earn a living for his family since then, as various applications for a work permit have been rejected. He explains that numerous letters to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees UNHCR to have the family expatriated have also gone unresponded to.
They did me a lot of things. Always they cheat me, always they lie me, always they say me, I need them, first of all, I need them communication. They write me and then I write to them because they don't communicate with me.
Mr. Dusawi laments that they only depend on well-wishers for food as the family is living in poverty.
And they are not helping us, we are dying secretly. They don't go to school they are here always, follow my children like this. They don't have clothes, they don't have proper food. I don't know even when they get sick, the food they need to eat we don't have. Now, we need our new president to take care for us. That's the main things for me.
He has called for quick help, stating that the family is desperate to be expatriated. Meanwhile, Camnet News has written a press query to UNHCR to get information on the matter. Zipora Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Some polling staff of Lusaka district have complained over delayed payments by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, for the work done during the just-ended general election. Polling staff, whose identities are concealed, says the ECZ, through the council, was supposed to make payments right after the election on Friday, 13th August 2021, but they remain in a dilemma. Meanwhile, Lusaka Town Clerk, Mr. Alex Mwanza, says the delay in paying some polling staff is due to clearance procedures that need to be undertaken before they can be remunerated. Mr. Mwanza has revealed that so far over 1,500 polling staff have been paid.
They were employed on a basis that they render their services in ensuring that millions of people cast their vote peacefully and with no complications across the country. Even after the last caster, polling staffs remain behind to count all the votes casted, in most cases overnight. This activity is done in all polling stations in expectation that their services will be rewarded with a reasonable amount. Contrary to what was agreed with their employer, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, through the Lusaka City Council, some polling staffs of Lusaka District have issued a complaint of allegedly delayed allowances for the just-ended general elections.
I want to make an appeal to the ECZ. We worked for 3 days and we were told that we'll get our monies after we finish conducting elections. We were done on Friday morning and nothing has been addressed to us. We don't know when we're going to get our money. Rumor has it that we'll have our money after inauguration, which is very wrong. We have been going there, waiting. No one has come on board to address us or to tell us anything. So we don't know what is happening. Please tell us what is happening. We need our money before the inauguration so that we can use it for other stuff.
Giving us our monies. Because we are told these other provinces, they've gotten their monies. But what's the problem with Lusaka? Please, we are appealing. We want our monies tomorrow, Saturday, or today if possible. We want our money. We worked for the money. Others went there. We were sick, but we managed to conduct an election. This is almost 1 week from the time that we worked.
Meanwhile, Lusaka Town Clerk Mr. Alex Mwanza says the delayed payments of some polling staffs is due to clearance procedures that need to be undertaken for one to get paid.
We had more than 7,000. And you know, there is also a requirement to clear them before we start paying. Establishment of post staff of more than 10,000. That's a lot of people and a lot of money. So what we are doing, when one is cleared, because we gave them a lot of materials and equipment, tables, chairs, and so on and so forth, accountable documents like ballot papers and so on. So once they are cleared, then we're forwarding them to the cashier for payment. I think that is the procedure they are failing to understand, that you cannot be paid until you are cleared. So you don't just turn up and say, can I be paid? But otherwise, in terms of effecting payments, we have already started paying. We have all the money for all those that participated in the general elections. Others, it will take as long as they present themselves for clearance. If, for example, you have lost an item that belongs to ECZ, they will not be paid.
And Mr. Mwanza revealed that so far over 1,500 polling staffs have been paid in Lusaka and the process is still ongoing. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Over 100 election observers from Baulini compound in Lusaka, hired by Good Governance Zambia, a member of Democracy and Motherland Defenders Coalition, are distressed over the failure by their employees to settle their allowances. The residents, represented by Alan Ngoma, have told Camnet News that their employees owe them in excess of 6,000 kwacha despite having delivered the work. Mr. Ngoma says the President-elect Hakainde Hichilema must constitute a team to investigate such organizations that misuse people and dump them like garbage without paying them for the service rendered.
There are a few who represented over 100 residents of Bauleni compound in Lusaka who were hired by an institution called Good Governance Zambia Goza, a member of Democracy and Motherland's Defender Coalition, to monitor the 12th August 2021 general elections. According to the Defender Coalition spokesperson Andrew Ntewewe, his institution was to deploy over 25,000 election observers countrywide.
That the coalition has proceeded to accredit over 25,000 monitors across the country.
The residents toured for 2 days continuous to ensure that they delivered according to employers' expectation, but surprisingly, their employers have vanished without paying them their benefits of their labor.
For the elections, we are told there will be trainings that will be done, of which we did. And the IDs, we are told, no, you have to get the IDs from the civic center, you have to use your own man, then that man will be defended back, of which we did. But to our surprises, according to the promises that were given from the word go, and what is happening now is contrary. We haven't been given our allowances for what we worked for. One of our projects received 250 kwacha, which is a meal allowance for that day.
They are managing me as a monitor. The number 7 is around 04 until the following morning 9 hours. Not even breakfast, not even lunch, not even supper. But tempe is a allowance. Because in drama timbera tizinachoka, but in drama swafuna kuti sending.
Bibomba kulingana n'enchito oyo batuperi okubomba. But yamu agreement yo tuwa umufweno kwa bati nga twabomba tapali na mfumo vya chiti. Bati yora tubale tupera ma 6,800 chira muntu. Usendere phone afuni kotenga 5,000 kwacha. So ama phone ya ishire pay stream phone ini. So which means wasendere phone afuni kusenda 5,000. Wamenesa na tenge vili vonse afuni kotenga 6,800. But kufika lero tapali na nguchimo ichichitike pandeni abantu bonse na ababutuka. So
and one of Goza employers identified as Mr. Sampa, when contacted for a comment, claims the political party they supported has lost the general elections, hence the failure to pay those contracted.
And they just released 250 kwacha per monitor because they said they don't have money. They had 60,000 plus monitors. They were expecting that we were going to win the elections so that they can give at least a reasonable amount to all our monitors.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they gave a reason to say, no, we have lost the election and we don't have source of funds and we had a lot of monitors, so we cannot share a little. That is there. That is what they told us.
The residents have called on the now President-elect Hakainde Hichilema to constitute a group to investigate these institutions in order to help them recover their benefits. Prudence Daughter, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, accountability issues over the administration of the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU relief in Lusaka's CHONGWE district. Some residents interviewed by Camnet TV News say they are concerned that DMMU was selectively distributing the relief food such as meal and rice, and mostly among people connected to Patriotic Front. This month, the district received 3,000 bags of meal, and according to the district commissioner, he said the meal will be distributed to people now that the elections are over.
During the just-ended general election, the country witnessed excessive abuse of public resources, and calls for accountability were blasted aside. The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, became a campaign vehicle under the disguise that government does not cease to function when there is an election. And the DMMU worked to disadvantage opposition political parties through the relief food distribution in a politically targeted approach at the expense of attending to people affected by calamities such as floods. Lusaka's Chongwe district, more people have not fully benefited from the mealie meal distributed by the DMMU.
Like my youth, ndiye permanent bank pesa kakuti pali voto. My youth, that's why lokwa hapa ni mavuto yalengesa kuti bantu banavota na mungu nyinji. Chifukwa cha nchito kulibe, lokuvamine vota nizi wakuti government itandiza kulibe stigma kioni. Uzapeza kuti amini wacha wakulu wakuma chameni bandani bali kusogolo. Ndiye baviga but kuti my youth vivafike kulibe.
This month about 3,000 bags were received but a check at the makeshift storage facility, which initially must have been the district commissioner's residence, but it does not live here. The quantities could not amount to what has been received. He said the house is used for storage of various government commodities.
There's no way we can keep it the minimum, my brother. Even fertilizer for the community development stays here. Even the seed for the last 2.5 years now. Okay. We have no facility and we have no provision where to.
And when asked about why relief food distribution was being politicized, Chongwe District Commissioner Robster Mwanza denied the allegation, saying further information could not be provided as instructed by the permanent secretary.
It was not distributed fairly. It was being distributed during campaigns and to campaign to PF members. Is it true?
No, it's not true. That's why I've said we have a meeting now to distribute the minimum which we received on 6th of August. That's what we are saying. That's what I answered that side, isn't it?
Yes.
I was very clear on that one. We can't distribute during campaign time. People are very busy. And you go to people, which people now, they're busy running up and down.
Information obtained from local journalists indicate that rice was part of the consignment, but details over the whereabouts remains a mystery. Mr. Mwanza told journalists that he was going to attend to a meeting to discuss how they were going to distribute the remaining mealie meals.
The network of the vulnerable people, the widows, the vulnerable children, and the other.
Before we let you go, can you confirm the quantities which you have in this warehouse?
I think I said to answer that question that side. For now, let me end here. Then we go to the PS and get more details. Thank you.
Transparency and accountability are a cornerstone of development. This means that governance must not be a subject of political loyalty, but to citizens. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The National Democratic Congress NDC says internal political wrangles should be a thing of the past in view of reuniting the party and forge ahead. NDC Lusaka Provincial Chairman Edward Simfukwe says they want to stand with the interim President Joseph Akafumba and further rally behind President-elect Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND alliance. Meanwhile, NDC Media Director Emmanuel Malite says the party has welcomed back former Secretary General Mwenya Msenga, who has decided to rejoin the party.
We've come here to consolidate our stance, to reach out to our followers out there, to say as a political party, we've had internal differences prior to the elections. And we cannot afford to take that route. And henceforth, I'm saying as a provincial chairman and as a party spokesperson, in the interest of the party, we are saying we have to rally behind just one leadership. And that's the leadership that is under the UPND alliance. And that is the leadership of Joseph Ricky Akafumba. We are reaching out to Madam Savoy Mboya to say, Madam, it's never too late. We are one and we are standing on the same cause. So please get to this winning team so that we forge ahead and we consolidate our political party.
We have taken Madam Savoy and Dr. Shimbaka Mwili to court. We've had a situation where the lawyers are not appearing. My greatest warning is if they, it's at that time where they felt that they can disrespect the judiciary, but not anymore. So in the spirit of unity and reconciliation, we are not even interested in going that route. As you've seen, the whole leadership that were behind Madame Savoy, they have left, and in that spirit, she should sit down and reflect. Sit down. I know who she was being used to. Sit down and sit with my uncle CK, reflect, and just take a leave of active politics. I know this is not good for you. The active politics right now is not good for you. So we would advise you that you go in that manner. But for the sake of unity, I would urge the members of the public that the MDC is now as strong as it was as we started.
Several bus drivers at Kamwala have been chased and stopped from operating within the bus station by political party cadres purporting to be from the United Party for National Development. In an interview with Camnet TV News, Likando Mlewa says they have stayed for 8 years without any permanent operating station, of which they have called on the government to come to their aid.
Peace and order, an occurrence of harmony characterized by lack of violence, conflict behaviors, and freedom of fear of violence. It refers to the moment in life where people enjoy freedom from chaos and disagreements, which is marked by harmonious relationships between people. This, though, hasn't been the case for most bus drivers in Lusaka because they've been constantly chased out of bus stations by political party cadres, hence them not having a permanent place to operate from. A check by Camnet News found some who gave out their concerns.
Ananipisha for quite 7 years since I came to road, and then anipeza nisenza kwa bwele ningamchawe kama mtu singamchawe kwa but kuli bantu ma drivers all benzo senza zira peace azabwera zabu ankali so lo wesi kufuna no ajantu bezotimenya benzo chitabwa singamvomekeza nje mngoso singamvomela nomvomela nzemzemu kujana na enemy wako pafupi zangala munje azachitavoyi pafupi ola atipunza nzeru zabo zopisha abantu so sitibafuna kuti atipunza nzeru zopishitika sitimenya muntu so kumpisha zando senza muteze senza sitimenya muntu
na hivi amene vanangena vakapokola semeni vevi semi vakapokola sivana nkhalepo nonkhalapo semi vana vapisha vakapokola semi vana menyewa vakapokola manje.
They say it has been difficult for them to conduct business, adding that they have no specific routes to take when driving.
Na PF wenze pafupi maningi na makaders wa PF ndiye vetipisha mu station ndiye ma drivers vetipisha mu station. As for now pamene vindu vikalipongazikika zamka cheti vapisha zamba cheti ngo vapisha sizilageza pongo vapisha zawapisha na veva mbere mwe penetezo mvera pamene wenze vana tipisha efe mayezi yonse tankhala kapana nkutu 8 years tankhala titsenzera mu road na veva sezereko mu road.
In order to live in harmony, peace needs to prevail. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In a related development, commuter rights advocate Liswaniso Mwanalushi has proposed that local authorities must be operating on 24-hour basis in bus stations in order to completely deal with the infiltration of political cadres. He says it is important that the local authority identifies all illegal bus stations such as Kamwala and start running them with the view of maximizing revenue collection. He adds that cadres can be engaged in order to generate income activities.
Political cadres have for a long time thrived in illegality and inflicting pain on others like ticks on dogs, sucking blood mercilessly. Bus drivers used to pay 40 kwacha to cadres per trip, but they never enjoyed it as the money was being used for political party activities. They would be subjected to failing party supporters to meetings at their own cost. Traders were subjected to unknown and unaccounted for levies. After a long walk in misery and darkness, light can be seen through the new government. For commuter rights advocates like Liswaniso Mwanalushi, who has been fighting this cancer, is not short of ideas.
We are grateful for that move, but we are appealing to our president and the councils to have a humanitarian touch to the directive. Tipempapo bomb at least, but Jamaica are going to Sogoro, like to do my skills training, like to go to the council helps them to acquire a skill, kupenta, welding, carpentry, even things to do with the kufasula, sewage related things. There are so many houses people are building. The market is there. Gardening, those things they can do. So we are saying, let's help these youths move away from bus stations, acquire a skill, and start a new life. Start another income generating activity through the things we are proposing.
He says councils must be operating on a 24-hour basis in order to maintain sanity and keep a situation where political cadres start getting money illegally at bus stations.
In the council should not just focus on the central business district. We should also go in the townships. We should go also in these other ungazetted bus stations, so that we have a complete overhaul of the removal of these undesirable characters from managing the bus stations. Every penny counts. The bus driver, the conductors are crying about that money they are giving those cowboys and cadres. Because at the end of the day, those guys they don't work for the council, they don't own those facilities. So going forward, we're asking the council, please, try to work also even at night.
Local authorities need to make more out of this positive gesture in order to create a favorable environment for all citizens, regardless of their political affiliation. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
Good day to you, dear esteemed customers. As Zamtel, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 ngwe benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers Zamtel customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. Zamtel customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they used when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for Zamtel to Zamtel calls, Zamtel to Zamtel SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. Zamtel customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yatu benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yatu benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yatu benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our Zesco units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
The Camnet October Conference is fast approaching. To participate in the forthcoming conference, you're required to book your seat by paying 750 kwacha per person per day. Date 1st and 2nd October 2021. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Guest speakers include Professor Reda, Professor Munkumba, Mr. Nkuruma Kalaluka, Dr. Musonda, Dr. Sitima, Anthony from USA, Dr. Mwale, Honorable Bob Sichinga, Elias Bondela, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
The deadline for payments will be 28th September 2021. Any late payment made after 28th September will attract a penalty fee of 200 kwacha per person.
Make your payments through mobile money. For MTN, 096 296 5883. For Airtel, 097 975 3010. Our banking details are 913 000 182 5325. Stanbic Bank, Kablonga Branch.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the rest of the main news. Lusaka's Chawama Primary School head teacher says regardless of the abrupt closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the school is doing everything possible to prepare pupils for exams. Speaking in an interview with Camnet TV News, Ms. Anastasia Mangala is hopeful that pupils will be committed to passing the exams. Ms. Mangala says as schools officially open on the 23rd of August, parents must allow their children to attend classes, saying schools are safe for learning.
Since the incoming of the pandemic, the education sector is one of the majorly affected institutions of the country. The 2021 academic year has been characterized with the closures of schools and abrupt reopening, which in a normal circumstance would negatively impact the learners in respective learning institutions. However, some schools in Lusaka district are optimistic that with the remaining time, much will be recovered to assure impressive results for the examination classes. Chama Primary School head teacher Ms. Anastasia Mangala says regardless the abrupt closure due to many factors such as the COVID-19 and other national activities, the response from pupils and parents is overwhelming and encouraging.
Because the pupils are excited to learn. It is just that, you know, there has been a lot of activities, of course, national activities, which we do appreciate as well. Talk of the elections, that was very important. So when the pupils resumed, initially they came with numbers which we did not expect, including those classes which were not mentioned. We had to tell them that no, because we follow directives, you will come later. Thereafter, they had to go for a break because of elections. And during that particular time, you remember that our head of state, the outgoing head of state, announced that instead of opening on the 16th, due to, of course, other things that were happening, other classes will resume on the 23rd, those other classes. So, some of the pupils, I don't know, they also stayed away, maybe waiting for the 23rd. But we still have those that have reported. On Monday, we had only 3. Of course, there were fears that maybe people beat them. You know, people were still celebrating.
And pupils are confident that their performance will be still impressive, saying they are more focused now to recover the time lost.
Concerning the next results, you should expect good performance as long as we study hard and the teachers, if are serious in teaching, then the results will be good.
So we have to study hard for us
to have a better future in life, because COVID-19 has affected a lot of people in politics, economics, even in our schools.
I can encourage those who are not coming to school to come back to school. They are missing a lot of topics. As for those who are staying at home, just fighting, doing other things.
Ms. Mangala since encouraged parents to send their children to school, especially after the official reopening of 23rd of August, saying the schools are very safe for learning. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Professional Teachers Union PROTAS has demanded a total cleanup in the education sector to flush out individuals who contributed to difficulties in the teaching service during the 10-year Patriotic Front regime. PROTAS General Secretary Kangwa Msenge, addressing the media in Lusaka Thursday, charges that the teaching service has been infiltrated by cadres acting as a stumbling block to achieving quality education, which the country aspires to achieve by 2030. He has cited challenges such as non-upgrading of teachers' salaries after attaining higher education qualifications, which he says has been a problem from as far as 2014.
It is a widely held belief that the standards of education determine the levels of a country's development. It is for this reason that Zambia signed up to the Sustainable Development Goals, whose deadline is 2030, with goal number 4 aiming at ensuring quality education for all its citizens. The Professional Teachers Union PROTAS, however, has charged that the teaching service has operated under difficult circumstances during the 10-year regime of the Patriotic Front PF government. PROTAS General Secretary Mr. Kangwa Msenge says among the challenges are the non-upgrading of salaries for teachers who have attained higher educational qualifications and low teacher recruitment. He further says the teaching service is desperately in need of about 40,000 teachers in order to operate efficiently.
The current pupil-teacher ratio across the country is worrying and a major stumbling block to achieving quality education, which the country aspires by 2030. The union is still wondering as to why the planned recruitment of 1,200 teachers early this year has suddenly gone silent. We demand for the immediate release of the names of successful candidates who had applied to be employed as teachers in the teaching service by the Teaching Service Commission. It is in public domain that over 3,000 teachers have been deployed into schools without salaries for months now. We need an answer to why such a thing has happened. We recommend for the immediate revocation of Statutory Instrument number 63 of 2014 on the retirement age and bring the retirement age to 55 years as it were so to create more space for trained young professionals to be employed as teachers by the Teaching Service Commission.
The PROTAS General Secretary asked that teachers need to be given easy access to land and housing, and that schools that are well performing should be awarded in order to motivate teachers. He has further called for a clean-up in the teaching service to ensure that dignity to the education sector is restored, stating that cadreism should be discouraged.
PROTAS calls for a total clean-up at the Public Service Management Division, the Teaching Service Commission, Civil Service Commission, and other government departments which contributed to the downfall of the civil service operations. We are inspired by the party's manifesto on education, which promises to respect and reward teachers better. PROTAS calls on the new government to withdraw all politically motivated cases against union leaders and innocent teachers. On this one, we saw people getting dismissed as long as you will say you are not supporting Chipani. We saw our members getting arrested even when they are whistleblowers against the infamous teacher recruitment. We saw our teachers being threatened of transfers.
Different sectors of society have been laying out their expectations for the newly elected United Party for National Development, UPND government. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Civil Society for Scaling Up Nutrition CSO-SAN has called on the newly elected United Party for National Development government to formulate policies that will increase access to water for Zambian people in order to sort out nutrition and hygiene problems. The latest data from the World Bank has revealed that 6.8 million people in Zambia lack easy access to water, making them rely on shallow wells and other non-conducive water resources. CSO-SAN Country Director Mr. Matthew Muhuru has told Camnet News that that compromised water sources also endanger the health of citizens as they heighten the chance of diarrhea diseases.
Issue of water, as already statistics, from World Bank and other stakeholders that have, just taken surveys to understand, just the extent of the problem, have already revealed that, over 6.8 million people in Zambia don't have access to, to clean water, and just the sanitation aspect as well, is another issue. So we expect the new government, as they, take office, and as they start, rolling out what is in their manifesto and, things that will form policy, to really consider the issue of water. Poor water and sanitation, means that cases of diarrheal diseases that have been claiming a lot of lives, especially for under 5 children, become very, very, very high. So we can curb this and reduce the number of deaths that are related to just poor water and sanitation by just fixing also the issue of water. We need more people to have access to clean water and sanitation in Zambia for us to have, proper nutrition security as well.
The Zambia Union of Financial Institutions and Allied Workers, Zafiawu Secretary General Chingatum Siska, has urged people to be patient with the new government as they make demands. Zafiawu Secretary General Chingatum Siska is impressed that the United Party for National Development government seeks to create a conducive work environment.
Per United Party for National Development UPND manifesto, the aim is to restructure the civil and public service by creating an environment that enhances productivity. Stakeholders have therefore called on the incoming ruling party to uphold their promises, the electorate stating that they will support the government of the day as long as the worker is catered for. Speaking to Camnet News in an interview, the Zambia Union of Financial Institute and Allied Workers Secretary General Chingatum Siska says they are optimistic to see what the new government has to offer in regards to improving the working environment for the workers.
If you look at the policies and also the direction that has been given by the president-elect on the speech that he made a few days ago, it's bringing a lot of excitement to the labor movement, because what we're looking at is the policies that are going to work and work well for the members, not only the members in the labor movement, but obviously for the citizenry. So this is an approach that we feel needed to be looked at seriously, as it were, because obviously the expectations are very high. But from our point of view, we support the government of the day as long as the workers are looked at and everything else is working well for the worker. We are on record for a long time that we have been talking about issues, balancing a lot of matters. We are talking about the tax. We have heard the report where the tax base is going to be reduced or looked at, the economy being revised, as it were, and that is the excitement which members are looking forward to have.
Mr. Msiska says promises of reducing the tax base as a result of having an improved economy remain high on their list of expectations. He further called on stakeholders to be productive in order to help facilitate some of the policies yet to be implemented, further urging them to be patient, as change is always gradual.
We have to be cautious. It can never be done overnight. We have to be sure that whatever we are doing, we continue to do the productive way of being involved in whatever is happening in our country. Zambia belongs to every one of us. It does not belong to one individual. It belongs to everyone. So every stakeholder out there, let us be productive. Let us be serious with what we are doing in order to attain the levels that the current government is promising.
Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
In other news, a disability organization hopes that the plight of people living with disabilities will be a priority under the new United Party for National Development government. Born short-living tour executive director Ntalasha Shisha says they want to see an equal share and full inclusion of differently abled persons in the governance of the nation become reality. Mr. Shisha has since called on the UPND government to uphold its pledge to unite the nation and break tribal boundaries and political of-character assassination. He says President-elect Hakainde Hichilema should be loyal to the people who have put him in office.
Article 29 on the rights with people living with disabilities states that government should encourage people with disabilities to get involved in politics and be incorporated in the governance system of the nation. This is because people living with disabilities do not enjoy the same access to society on an equal basis with others. Their economic, social, educational opportunities are experienced with enormous challenges and limitations. We therefore urge the President-elect, Hakainde Hichilema, to consider the following. 1. Forming a ministry for people living with disabilities. 2. The creation of the Disability Empowerment Fund alongside all the privileges that the youths will receive. 3. Awarding of government contracts to give preferential treatment to the youths, women, and especially people living with disabilities.
The Media Institute of Southern Africa, Zambia, MISA Zambia, is optimistic that the new government will undertake media law reforms. MISA Zambia acting chairperson Barnabas Simatendi says the enactment of the information will ensure that the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation operates as a public broadcaster. He added that MISA Zambia remains confident that the Access to Information Bill will be enacted.
Hopeful that the ushering in of the new regime will ensure a free and independent media terrain that will enable the media and its practitioners to carry out their role of informing and educating citizens without the threat of censorship, intimidation, and harassment. We are optimistic that media law reforms will be one of the key priority areas of the new United Party for National Development, UPND administration, which includes, among other things, the transformation of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, ZNBC, to operate and fulfill its role as a true public service broadcaster to serve the public good and serve various needs and segments of society fairly. Further, MISA Zambia also remains confident of the enactment of the Access to Information Bill, which has been shelved for a long time now.
We take a break. Coming next is international and sports news.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba, the board and management of Camnet TV, congratulates His Excellency, the President of the Great Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and the UPND party on his victory as the 7th President of the Great Republic of Zambia. May God keep and bless Zambia. Camnet TV, not just another channel. The Camnet October Conference is fast approaching. To participate in the forthcoming conference, you're required to book your seat by paying 750 kwacha per person per day. Date 1st and 2nd October 2021. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Guest speakers include Professor Reda, Professor Munkumba, Mr. Nkuruma Kalaluka, Dr. Musonda, Dr. Sitima, Anthony from USA, Dr. Mwale, Honorable Bob Sichinga, Elias Bondela, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba.
The deadline for payments will be 28 September 2021. Any late payment made after 28 September will attract a penalty fee of 200 kwacha per person.
Make your payments through mobile money. For MTN, 096 296 5883. For Airtel, 097 975 3010. Our banking details are 913 000 182 5325. Stanbic Bank, Kablonga Branch.
Welcome back. Now getting into our international item. Gambia has ordered mass immunization after polio virus found in sewage water. The country's health ministry says no case of polio has been confirmed among the population. Meanwhile, record heat waves and drought have sparked fire across Italy this summer. A local farmers association says agriculture is at risk and climate change is only making things worse. For this and many other stories, here's a roundup of global news.
Gambia declared a public health emergency on Wednesday after traces of the polio virus were found in sewage water samples. The sewage water in which the virus was detected was collected from the capital Banjul and the tourist hub of Kotu. Gambia's Minister of Health, Ahmadou Lamin Samate, said no case of polio had been confirmed among the population in the country. He said the government is also planning at least 2 mass vaccination campaigns targeting children under 5. A new sampling policy was put in place in Gambia in May with the support of the World Health Organization. The country routinely tests sewage waste for any traces of the virus. The Gambia was declared polio-free in 2004, according to the ministry. In August 2020, the WHO announced that polio had been eradicated from Africa after 4 consecutive years without reported cases, calling it a historic moment.
Marco Razzolini grows an unusual crop for a Tuscan farmer: peanuts. When fellow farmers ask him why he plowed under sunflowers to grow a plant more common to parts of Africa or the U.S. South, he tells them the choice was clear.
Compared to 20 years ago, this area has gotten drier and hotter. The climate has become ideal for peanuts. They thrive in dry, sandy soil. We have to follow nature. We can't force our will on it.
According to a new report, 1/5 of Italy is at risk of desertification. Farmers from the Alps in the north to Sicily in the south are adapting to climate change. And those who manage water resources are having to adapt too. Like at this dam that channels water to farmers in southern Tuscany. The man in charge here says seasonable rains are less reliable now.
We're always forced to keep going with the little water that we have. We're trying to teach farmers to consume less water. I'm very worried because this part of Tuscany needs a lot of water.
It's not just Tuscany. 2 hours south in the hills of Lazio, Tonino Casciani prefers to keep growing what Italians have cultivated since ancient times, wine grapes. But he too is embracing change. With fewer water resources, his hilltop vineyard is especially at risk. Now Casciani works with a team that maps his land with multispectral images that help him make complex, subtle decisions about when to water and how much he needs to irrigate.
We're forced to use this system because without it a lot of land would be unusable. With this technology we're able to keep this land productive, otherwise we'd have to shut down.
Shutting down his family's vineyard just isn't an option. Whether reinventing ways to tend traditional crops or market new ones, these farmers are coming up with strategies to face an uncertain future. Adam Rainey, Al Jazeera, Venturina, Italy.
We now get into sports news. An 18-year-old Paralympic has called on well-wishers and government to come to his aid in assisting him with the necessary basic requirements in order to conduct proper training. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Gift Msonda explains how difficult it has been for him to train because of lack of adequate requirements such as lotion.
Paralympics raise awareness of mental and physical disabilities in the hope of creating a better life for those with disabilities. They display great determination and courage to overcome mental and physical obstacles. Camnet Sports caught up with one Paralympic athlete, Gift Msonda, who will be representing Zambia in the forthcoming Paralympic Games in December, who explained how his journey started as an athlete.
At first I was doing it from school level, then I had to go in provincial. Then they had to identify me through my friend who took me to OIDC to just like train with him. Then I found the coach and he called me and he was like, have you done athletics before? I said yes, and he was like, okay, I'm a coach for under 20 and I've seen something in you. I know that you can do it and I've trusted in you, so I can like you to be in my team. That's how I started working with Paralympic, training with them. Yeah.
Gift, 18, has also told this reporter some of the challenges he's experiencing in his training.
As for now, I'm hoping like I can qualify for 2024 France Games. So I'm just training hard now, fighting with everything within me to make it. Time is kind of lotion because we can't learn when it is too sunny without the lotion. Yeah, so it is like a challenge to us, even to me, like without lotion, then you have to train. It's a must, you have to train. So
he has made an appeal to young people to make use of the Olympic Youth Development Center, OIDC.
Many people are complaining because they didn't identify their talent. Yeah. So I can like them to just join one or two things in OIDC because there are many activities that side.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Poverty compels a family of Somalia refugees to miss home. Polling staff demand payment from the ECZ. Chongwe DC fails to account for the DMMU relief food as residents complain. And in international news, record heat waves, drought devastate Italy agriculture. And in sports news, an 18-year-old Paralympic calls for help. Well, that is all, but before we go, here's our Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Psalm 68, verse 19 to 20, and it reads, "May the Lord be praised day after day. He bears our burdens. God is our salvation. Our God is a God of salvation, and escape from death belongs to the Lord God." Well, my name is Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Pleasant viewing.